Every year, we see lists of the world's wealthiest individuals, typically businessmen who own stock in significant corporations. But have you ever wondered what an all-time list of the richest individuals would look like if you were to include all the emperors, pioneers, and conquerors, along with the investors and technology geeks of today? It is true that comparing wealth across time and space is difficult, but leading historians have put the test to the test. Top 15 richest people in history. If you guys like this video, go and hit the like and subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out. Henry Ford, the leader of the American auto industry and the business tycoon who made mass production of automobiles possible, is ranked number 15 on our list. His Ford Motor Company, which he founded, produced cars that were for the first time affordable to the middle class, turning them into a practical mode of transportation and revolutionizing transportation. When he passed away in 1947, Henry Ford was one of the richest and most well-known people in the world. Rags to riches tale in 19th century America, Cornelius Vanderbilt made his fortune in the railroad and shipping industries. He began working for his father, who ran a cargo boat between Staten Island and Manhattan and New York in the 1820s. Later, he launched his own steamship company in New York, and in the 1850s, he entered the railroad industry. He was renowned for his cunning and aggressive business tactics. At his wealthiest, he would have been worth $200 billion. Tennessee, the family is no longer in charge of any enterprises, and Cornelius Vanderbilt's riches is no longer theirs. More than 42 years as a political and revolutionary leader in Libya, during his decades-long rule, Muammar Gaddafi had as good as private control over Libya's rich oil fields and their earnings. This wealth was hidden in several bank accounts, real estate, and other investments around the world. At the start of the Libyan conflict, the US government discovered 35 of these accounts. Today, that amount would be more than $212 billion. Assets worth $30 billion were discovered in the UK, Germany, France, and Italy. It is thought that most of the money he hid away is still missing even now. And number 12 on our list is William the Conqueror, the first Norman king of England who ruled from 1066 after defeating King Harold in the Battle of Hastings. He was the son of the Duke of Normandy Robert I and had a mistress named Leva. He was also known as William the Bastard. He succeeded his father as the Duke of Normandy. It is believed that King Edward promised him the throne of England. When Edward declared Harold the king, the foundation of Jacob Fugger's wealth was laid through the textile trade with Italy, but it grew significantly with the start of banking operations with the royal family of Austria and the administrative apparatus of the Holy See. At one point, he had a monopolistic hold on the copper trade in Europe. He amassed enormous wealth and power during his lifetime, totaling $277 billion at the peak of his fortune. By supporting the unions that gave the Austrian House of Habsburg control of Spain, Bohemia, and Hungary, and by ensuring the election of Charles V as the next Holy Roman Emperor, Jacob Fugger significantly influenced much of European history. Upon his death, his business and wealth were passed to his nephew Anton Fugger. His Exalted Highness is ranked number 10 on our list of the world's wealthiest persons. The last Nizam of Hyderabad, a princely state in India that joined the Republic of India in 1948, was featured on the cover of Time magazine in 1937 as the richest man in the world. His wealth was concealed on mining royalties and land revenue, as Dharabad was the only supplier of diamonds to the world in the 18th century. His net worth was estimated at $2 billion in the early 1940s, accounting for 2% of the US economy. The Nizam's jewelry collection included the 124-carat Jacob diamond, which is valued more than $40 million and was used by him as a paperweight. Mir Osman Ali Khan was regarded as a miser because of the way he dressed, but nearly all of Hyderabad's important public buildings and institutions were constructed during his rule, including the Osmania University, the General Hospital, the High Court, and the Observatory, to name a few. After his era's accession to India, the Indian government inherited the majority of his wealth, including the Nizam jewelry collection, but even then, he was still regarded as South Asia's richest man. The ninth person on our list is Nikolai Alexandrovich Romanov, the last Tsar of Russia, who was worth $300 billion in today's money. He governed from 1894 until he abdicated the throne in 1917. The Romanov family had controlled Russia for 300 years and had accumulated a lot of wealth and property during that time, only to be expanded by Tsar Nicholas II. The family's jewelry collection was reported to be worth 160 million rubles, and bazaar held multi-million. Industrialist and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie was born in Scotland, the son of a hand loom weaver. When he was 13 years old, he immigrated to America and began working at various railroad and telegraph jobs. He then began investing in oil infrastructure and steel, eventually founding the Carnegie Steel Company. Vertical integration of raw material supplies and a reduction in the cost of steel production using the Bessemer process made his business wildly successful, and he sold his stake in the company. John D. Rockefeller, widely regarded as the wealthiest person in modern history and the richest American of all time, had a peak net worth of about $367 billion in today's dollars. He made his money in oil refining, and the Standard Oil Trust he founded held 90% of the country's oil supply. Rockefeller revolutionized the American oil industry through his strategies of integrating transportation and marketing, and his company became so successful as a result. As their net worth increased five-fold over the following 10 years, Rockefeller received proportionate shares in these new businesses. He used this unprecedented wealth to pioneer the contemporary philanthropic system by founding foundations that still have a significant influence on medical education and scientific research. With an estimated $415 billion net worth, Mansa Musa, the first emperor of Mali and king of Timbuktu, is ranked number 6 on this list. During his rule in the 14th century, he controlled the Mali Empire, the Ghana Empire, and conquered much of West Africa. One of his titles was Lord of the Mines, and he amassed more than half of the world's gold supply at a time when the demand for the metal was skyrocketing. He also controlled important trade routes between. And number 5 on our list of the richest people in history is the biblical legend King Solomon, who ruled Israel for 40 years between 370 and 331 BC. He is known to have been incredibly wise and fabulously wealthy, with the empire reaching its heights of splendor during his reign. He is said to have received a yearly tribute of 666 gold talents, which is equivalent to about 86,000 pounds of gold every year. This, along with his income from taxation and trade, makes his net worth of about £1.2 billion. The Kaiser family's heir, Augustus Caesar, a master of political and military intrigue, became the first emperor of the Roman Empire in 27 BC, giving him complete control over imperial Rome and a personal fortune equal to 1/5 of the entire economy, making his net worth an estimated $4.06 trillion. He is also said to have personally owned the entire country of Egypt and created a system that allowed the Romans to live in peace for more than 2 millennia. Emperor Akbar, the first Mughal ruler between 1556 and 1605, is ranked 3rd on this list of the wealthiest people in history. A great military general, he expanded the Mughals' empire to almost the entire Indian subcontinent during his rule, giving him control over nearly 25% of the global GDP, or a staggering $21 trillion in modern currency. Akbar was also a brilliant administrator who was able to exercise power and control over his empire. Emperor Shenzong of China, who ruled over an estimated 30% of the world's GDP in the 11th century, is ranked second on our list of the richest people in history. During the peaceful prosperity and primary abundance eras, a new economic and social program was implemented, including low-interest loans to peasants, corrected land surveys to ensure that tax collections were increased, and a program of purchasing. With a net worth of hundreds of billions of dollars, the ruthless emperor who established the Mughal Empire is at the top of our list of the 15 richest individuals in history. Between 1206 and 1227, he led his army on a savage attack against all of his surrounding kingdoms, winning all of his engagements. In total, he acquired almost 12 million square miles of territory, ruling much of Central Asia and China. He frequently massacred on a vast scale the local